All right.
Akira Toriyama. So, like I said, he passed away this.
I don't even want to talk about
Oh,
this.
we gonna talk about it. We got to. He had too much of an impact on our lives
I
to
don't
not
want to
talk
talk about
about
it.
it. So, Akira Toriyama passed away this weekend of a subdural hematoma. For those of you who aren't in the medical field, that's a brain bleed, essentially. So I'm not gonna lie to you, man. When I heard the news, it messed me up because actually me and you were on the phone together. We were just talking, and
Yes.
you just came out of the blue, nowhere. Like, yo, did you hear? Like, he
But
died. I was like,
I don't think people understand. Like, okay, so let's rewind a little bit to
yeah,
the late 90s. Okay, when you had to watch each episode a week or 2 weeks at a
yeah,
time.
bro.
Like, there was no binging.
There was
Like,
no YouTube
if you
for us to go
missed it,
watch random episodes.
on that Saturday
You were screwed.
morning, it was a wrap.
You were
Like, you might catch it late night, but I mean, come on, late night. Like, we got school. Like,
and there's
you're
no
not
guarantee that you're going to
you
catch that episode that you missed because they may re-air something.
exactly. They might show episode 5, and you're like, bruh, like, I need the most recent episode.
Yeah.
So I know for me, for you, for Lance, like, this hit different. This was the equivalent to, like, and yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, but this was the equivalent to, like, a family member that we never
Oh
met.
yeah. Oh yeah, bro.
Like,
Like,
the impact.
bro, it was very significant, because
Yes.
I mean I was into anime before you, right? And
Yes.
back in the 90s, that was a day and age where anime was not cool. Like, and
No, absolutely
and
not.
luckily I was fortunate enough to where not only did I play sports, so I blended with that community, but also blended with the anime community because it was something
Yeah.
that I could readily talk about. And, for me, it was just, it was one of those things where finally it was, I don't know, it allowed me to see a different part of myself, to be more confident in myself.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, just Dragon Ball Z is where I learned to draw. Like, if anybody asks me right
Yeah.
now to draw something, I know
It was from there.
the
Yeah.
typical eyes that I'm gonna draw, and it's going to be a Dragon Ball Z character. But I know
Yeah.
we could ramble on all night talking about the effect that this man had on our lives, right? But I wanted to kind of streamline this and make sure it's like very concise and we're not just having rambling thoughts because it's the two of us. We can easily do that. So
You could easily do it.
I
Yes. Absolutely.
want to know, and you can go first and I can go, but what impact did he have on your life or anime life?
So I can't speak for the whole world
Yeah.
or whatever anime
This is
universe.
only
Well,
Javon.
only me. So for me, the impact that he had on my life, which he'll never know because I never met
Yeah.
him. One, it was confidence. Two, it was a peace.
Yeah.
Like, and by peace, I mean it was a, like, watching Dragon Ball Z, like, you had like this level, I had like this level of peace within myself. Like, all right, I can do, excuse my language, I can do damn near anything I want to.
Yeah, man.
Because, like, you're watching these episodes and they're breaking these walls.
Yeah.
Like, that they're I guess technically they're not supposed to break. Like, they're not supposed to reach this level. And so that's the impact that it had. That's the impact that it truly had on me. I would say those two things, like peace and just confidence in myself to be like, okay, like I can relate to this character.
Yeah.
Like I can relate to him. Like I can't relate to like certain celebrities or certain, this and that, but
Yeah.
several Dragon Ball Z characters I can relate to.
Yeah.
And so for me, like that's what I carried, and that's why I became so attached to it. And then like I was watching it a little bit, but then like meeting y'all, like then it became like, okay, the trio, like all three of us are like locked
Yeah.
in.
Locked in.
So it created a community. It created like a sense of, brotherhood, because my biological brother wasn't into that.
Yeah.
So to gravitate to y'all and to be like, okay, I can watch this with them because they're into it too, and I feel good about myself
Yeah.
because it's like, okay, I'm not weird, like but now I don't care. Like, yeah, I'm weird. So what? But at that point in time, you were kind of like you were kind of like the outcast if you were watching that.
Yeah. Especially in down south
So
Georgia.
yes, especially in the rural part of South Georgia, like, and like, nigga, you watching cartoons? It's
Pretty
like,
much.
stop. This is not a
We're not
cartoon.
gonna do that.
This is not a goddamn cartoon. First of all,
Yeah.
this is not. This teaches you life lessons if you pay
Oh
attention.
yeah. Big.
So, but that's what it did for me. So I'll let you
I
take
mean,
it.
for me, bro, it honestly, so along with you, it brought that inner peace with me. But I would say even more, it allowed that escape for me. Because I mean, growing up in Douglas isn't the easiest thing, nor is it the greatest thing, because there ain't a lot there.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was an escape, and it allowed me to see my imagination come to fruition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I really have to thank him for that, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known about Dragon Ball Z, which then I wouldn't have learned about everything else, because keeping it a bean, Dragon Ball Z was my gateway. Like
Yes.
once I realized how infatuated I was with this, I was like, okay, this is
What else is
a
out
whole
there?
world. What else is out there? I mean, and it led me to understanding a different part of myself, a part of myself that I don't
Yeah.
necessarily. Then I didn't share that with a lot of people, but now
No.
you can't get me to not talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
because it's everywhere
and
now.
like you learn a bro
Yeah,
in Dragon Ball Z itself.
it's everywhere now, and I like it's a good thing, and to me I feel like it's also kind of like a wishy-washy like bad thing, because you have your bandwagoners and this, that, and the
Yeah,
third, and it's like when they're like, well, should I watch this or should I watch that? And it's like, if you really want to understand where we're coming from, like where the diehard fans are coming from, you have to watch it all
yeah.
to understand where we're coming from. But yeah, sorry to
No,
cut
you
you
good.
off. I
And,
just had to say
and
that
bro,
part.
like in Dragon Ball Z itself, there are so many life lessons that you can pull away from it. The biggest one is resiliency. Like,
Period.
period. Point blank. I can honestly
Yeah.
say that Dragon Ball Z is a story about resilience. That I can
Yeah.
literally make that argument.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And bro, like that's why I hold Toriyama sama in such high regard, because he never knew it. His family may never know it, but they had such on my life and who I am as a person today because of the
Yes.
characters that he created from his mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
And the crazy thing about it is they say that he got the idea. His wife gave him the idea.
that's wild. Well,
Like
let me
that's
not let me
wild.
not say that's wild. That's a blessing, because
No, and what I mean by wild is like she saw this and
yeah,
was like, "Hey, you should try,"
you should try this,
and it took off.
bro. So tell me, being that we both agree Dragon Ball Z in itself had
Yeah.
such a substantial impact on our lives, and hell, some of our most favorite characters come from that anime. Which
Sure.
character do you see yourself in most?
So the character that, and this is gonna be funny. The character that can see myself the most in, and he's by far not like a super major main character. Krillin.
Get it in.
Krillin.
Okay. Good.
Krillin was not. Krillin was never the strongest.
No.
Krillin was never the smartest.
No.
Well, I mean, he was pretty smart, but he was never the strongest. He was never the biggest. He was never the baddest.
Yeah.
But Krillin would ride with you, bro.
Krillin will ride now. Krillin would
ride.
Man, Krillin would.
So although like yeah, I know a lot about Goku, Vegeta, and all the other stuff. Like, but if I have to just downright say it, it would be Krillin. Like, because I was never the biggest, I was never the fastest, I was never the strongest, but I'm a ride, and I'm gonna always put in the work.
I feel you there.
So that's why, and like when you look at it now, Krillin was all like, aside from Dragon Ball when him and Goku had it out, but like Dragon Ball Z, Krillin was always ready to go at it.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
period. Like, yeah, he had his questions and all this other stuff, but he was ready. At the end of the day, when it was all said and done, like he was ready to
You
ride.
can honestly make the argument that without Krillin, Dragon Ball Z would not be what it is because
he was
Goku was Super Saiyan.
He was an intricate, yeah. He was an intricate part of the entire story. If you remove him out of that story, what do you have? Like, truly and honestly, like, what do you truly have? So that's who I would attach myself to. Like right now, if somebody was like, "We want you to be a voice of a Dragon Ball Z," I'm gonna pick Krillin.
I feel you.
Like, I'm pick Krillin.
So for me, right, it's the same character but different phases. I would honestly say that I was more like kid and teen Gohan, not adult Gohan.
Okay.
So with kid and teen Gohan, I mean, if y'all knew or if y'all watched the series, right, Gohan had to be pushed to his limits for him to really get in his bag. And that's how I always felt that I was. I wasn't always the strongest, wasn't always the fastest, but like when I'm pushed into a corner, I come out fighting and swinging. And that's what I really appreciated about Gohan. And that's what I see a lot. I see myself in that character. And so I was actually going to say probably Vegeta because even though I'm not always the best, I'm always giving you a run for your money. But, so that's who I think I resonate most with. So, man, all right. So with his passing, right, do you think that this will have a drastic effect on the anime world, or the fact that he was kind of out of the so long that it's not going to be as crucial?
So this can go one of two ways. If they choose, okay, yeah, obviously with his passing, you're not going to have his ideas or his insights or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But if you choose to stay true to what you saw him do, I feel like the impact will be positive. Like, it'll still be positive. But if you choose to take if whomever takes it over, because we've seen where they're talking about I can't remember the guy
that's doing Super is going to take over, I think.
Yeah, you say him, and then somebody said something about his son, but there was like his son is still kind of going to be oversight or whatever. If you choose to take the alternate route, then you're going to create something where your bandwagon fans and your new fans aren't going to notice it, but your diehard 30 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus year old fans are gonna notice.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, yeah, no, this ain't it. So I hope that they take it I hope that they keep somewhat of his essence attached to it.
You talking about Dragon?
But I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But you just never know when and I guess the one main driving factor is you just never know when money is involved. Because you're talking about a $17 billion creation.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say that Dragon Ball at its essence will change because
Yeah.
he had such a he has such an imprint on it. I mean, he created,
Yeah. I hope it doesn't.
and I feel that at least in Japan, right, in that community, I feel like they take it way more serious than we do over here in America.
Well, they have like actual like gardens and giant statues and all of this and themed restaurants. Like streets are named after, these characters and stuff.
So I'm in the camp where I don't think that whoever takes on the mantle of continuing Dragon Ball is going to change it from Toriyama-sama's what he envisioned it to be. If anything, I'm actually I'm never glad that anybody passes, but at least he passed when the main story is pretty
Was
much
done.
done. Like it was getting
Yeah.
to a point where what else can we do with Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
But
His storyline has ran its
it ran
course
its
for the
course,
most
man.
part.
And I really think that this is going to have a big impact on the anime world because I mean, Oda came out with a letter recently, and I think he said he's going to incorporate some stuff from Dragon Ball into One Piece,
Into One
so
Piece, yeah.
that it's like a homage or paying
Yeah.
respect to Toriyama.
He's gonna do like not a crossover, but yeah, like an honorary like add
Yeah,
in.
because what I could see is like he incorporates some choreography from Dragon Ball into One Piece, and we could be like, "Oh
That
wow,
would be
he
legit.
pulled that from that scene." That's where I think we're
Yeah, that
probably
would
gonna
be
see
legit.
it, or we could
If I
go ahead,
if I see somebody do a Kamehameha stance in One Piece, I'm wilding out.
bro.
I'm telling you, I'm wilding out.
Bro, let me tell you, this is how this is how far-reaching his impact is. Right? All right, so Disney, there's this show called Big City Greens. It probably came out
I saw that.
20
I know what you're talking about.
where,
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. My son
where
watching it.
Cricket went to this little superhero convention.
Yep.
And he did the Kamehameha wave. He didn't say Kamehameha,
Yep.
but you know what it was if you've ever seen the series.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I saw that.
that is the impact that this man has had.
It's in
It's
everything.
in everything, bro.
It's in everything.
So
You have full blown commercials, car commercials, bruh, giving reference to this.
yeah,
Like
bro,
to a cartoon, as some disrespectful people would say. Like
this
it's
has
everywhere.
like a cult-like following.
Yeah,
Like his impact
absolutely.
has been crazy. But hey, so before we move on,
It's a tough one.
it's a tough one, man.
It's a tough loss.
It's a tough loss,
It's a
and
tough
we just
loss.
want to pay our respects to Akira Toriyama's family, and we'll make it through this. We'll make it through this. Y'all will make it through it, and yeah. All we can do is continue moving and continue being powerful.
R.I.P. to GOAT.
R.I.P. to the GOAT, man.